Conversations with Daniel. We hope that through these podcasts, we're able to have the important conversations, be able to, spread the information that is necessary to encourage one another of what is actually going on. And I just want to take a moment to encourage you. Here we are at the end of 2024. I'm recording this broadcast December 4th, 2024. Have a cup of hot chocolate here with me because it's cold. It's cold. It's 41 degrees here in North Carolina. And I can tell you it's definitely weather to bundle up, stay warm, do the best of our ability to boost our immune system and to move forward. And I just want to take a moment to let you know just how amazing you are for simply being here in 2024. For, you know, for being part of the volunteers that uh, came for such a time as this to be able to be part of the patriot movement, to be able to be part of the change that is necessary. And even if you're not part of the movement, you're also an amazing, incredible person because, um, you know, you are taking time to educate yourself to be able to do the research and that is necessary for us to be able to survive during this period of time. The one thing that we can absolutely 100% be sure about is change. Change is constant. I mean, every year we get older and older and older, no matter whether we want to or not. Right. And I can't believe some of the things as I'm in my 40s now that just as I get older, I'm finding it harder to read the small little print. I used to never have a problem with that, just some things like that. But I also believe that in time, we can reverse the aging process by proper nutrition, by a number of technology that is going to be coming in that is actually more healthy for us. And that's one of the reasons why we need to see these nominees that Trump has nominated for his new government, such as RFK, he's one of them. We need to get him nominated to get him in there. Um, we need to send a strong message to Congress that we, the people, have spoken. The majority of the United States voted for Donald J. Trump for a specific reason. We understood what he was about to do. We understood what he was up against. Um, Maybe not everybody understood to the full extent and the level that others do. Some of us have done our due diligence and actually have done our research. We took 2020, I know myself personally, I went through a lot of research, went through a lot of letting go of limiting beliefs religiously, physically, mentally, spiritually, every which way, encountered a lot of different things during that period of time, and joined what we often refer to as the Great Awakening. And with this great awakening is an awareness, a understanding. Some people call it a Christ consciousness of recognizing how important this time is. This isn't an ordinary election. This isn't an ordinary time. We literally are changing worlds. We are literally going through a removal of corruption, particularly in Washington, D.C. And we are up against a very, very corrupt machine that largely has lost. But they're continuing to do their thing, push their agenda for as long as they can. And they are attempting to slander these nominees. And we've got to put a stop to this. We've, again, got to allow Congress to understand I don't care who you are, what state you are, and what kind of big head that you have on your shoulders. You work for us. That is something that is essential for the government to understand. They are not our authority. We, the people, are. The Constitution actually is set up in a manner that when we elect officials, they work for us. We also fire them. Somewhere along the way, that has got distorted to where we, the people, are paying taxes and are serving these elite government officials who are doing fraudulent things. And then they're turning around pointing the fingers at the very nominees who are wanting to clean up Washington, D.C. And they did a number of trying to do what they could to take out Trump. We're well aware of that. If you've been paying attention at all with what has been going on for the last 6 years, especially 8 years, really, and even longer, 10, 12 years, there's been so many different things that have been going on. Really, we've had things go on for over 110 years. That's when a lot of the deep state really blossomed, came into power. And now, as Donald Trump has won the presidency and will be inaugurated January 20th, they're not done with their agendas. They're not done with pushing what they want to happen. But here's the thing, here's what's the ironic thing. People around the world know the truth about Donald Trump, who he is, what he is going to do, and what he means for their country. Can you imagine that? There are people that cannot wait to see Donald Trump get in office, get things done, and fulfill his purpose because they know that in turn, their country is going to follow suit. It happened before. It happened in 2016, 17, 18, and 19. 2020, the world kind of fell apart with a whole COVID pandemic situation. And a lot of information is coming out of that we knew back in 2020 of how ridiculous that whole situation was. I learned today that it is now becoming common knowledge that the virus came out of a lab. And did they say Wuhan? And so apparently that is now no longer censored as much as it used to be. It's now becoming public knowledge. And so, more and more stuff is going to come out. It has to, as it's required for this corruption to be taken down. It's not all going to be pretty. It's not all going to be wonderful. But we need to get these nominees in. They need to not be wasting time. We don't have a lot of time to be able to really, get the job done and do what we need to do. And but it must be done. And Donald Trump knows this. He understands the urgency of this, and several of the people that are part of his administration do too. And we're going to see something, I believe, that has never been done before in the presidency, an administration of a president before. Because a lot of politicians have just basically had a glorified vacation. Donald Trump didn't do that when he was president. I don't care what some of you want to say that he golfed every other day and what he was doing. That man works. He's a businessman. He's a CEO. He understands the value of work, and he sleeps about 4 hours a night. I don't know how he does it. I heard today that his aide actually said that he's now sleeping 2 hours a night. Unbelievable. And at his age, he just keeps going and keeps going and keeps going. So it's pretty incredible and amazing um, to see that. And he understands, again, the urgency that we've got to get in there and fix this country. All the slander that was done against him with the ridiculous, Democratic agenda, all the things they said. I don't even want to bring up some of the terms of, what they were using during the campaign. It was absolutely ridiculous. Uh, never are going to happen. The things they said that he would round up colored people and stuff like that. Absolute ridiculous. That's not what's going on. We are going to get the border secured, and illegals will be sent home packing, especially criminal ones. And that's what needs to be done. This should have been done a long time ago. Our national security is definitely at critical measures. And I will tell you right now that I've mentioned this before, and perhaps I'll do an episode delving into the trucking industry of how the illegal immigrants have absolutely destroyed the trucking industry. Since it's an industry I'm actually in, and I actually have not been able to get a job in an actually CDL. I am a delivery driver, but I wasn't actually able to get a Class A 18-wheeler job um, over the last like three months or so due to the inundation of the market with bad drivers, and most of them illegal. They're getting driver's licenses or using a license from their country, and they're absolutely doing illegal things. They're running into cars, and it's hit and run. Because if they get caught, they know they're going to be deported. So we've had a lot of accidents that have been going on, hit and run, people who they've been fatalities. Um, and sometimes nothing is ever done because nobody knows who they are. Their trucks don't have the proper markings, aren't properly registered, really are not legal, and so forth. Like I say, I might delve into that in the future episode, especially if it's still a problem in the next couple of months. But I believe that a lot of that's going to be cleaned up. And like I've said before, when I'm talking about illegal immigrants, we're talking about a lot of other illegals from Russia, Haiti, Venezuela. We're not even talking about the ones from Mexico. So don't get your facts uh, mixed up there with that, because the left especially likes to do that and to tell us that we're talking about the Mexicans and how are we going to be able to, you know, have our fruit picked and all that. We're not talking about those absolutely at all. So, what do y'all think about this slander? All the slander that has been going on. You know, slander to keep people from office, slander to try to keep people away from the nomination of these important positions, digging up things that are absolutely ridiculous. Um, quite frankly, I think it needs to stop. You know, the past is the past. And as long as these people have not committed a crime like it appears Hunter Biden has, which, by the way, his pardon is not mattering much. Apparently, he's still got to pay for his crimes. So that's the latest on that, from what I understand. But, you know, slander needs to stop. It needs to stop at a local level. I live in a small town here in North Carolina, and it is unbelievable the gossip that goes on inside the church and outside of the church. I'm going to call a spade a spade. As some of you may not know, but most of you probably don't know, I actually was a pastor, actually closed a church at the end of 2019. And I can tell you, as someone who's been in board meetings and in church work and grew up in church all my life, until I have left due to the abuse, due to the gossip, due to the slander that goes on. You can literally, I have seen people's lives literally destroyed. It is not right. It should really be something that we should stop and think about and saying, why would I destroy a I was going to say a young man or a young woman, but even an elderly man or elderly woman's reputation because of the rumor mill or what I was told that they did, and spreading all these type of things. The people in the small town that I'm in are very cynical to anything on the outside, an outsider coming in. So an outsider comes in, they might be extra friendly, maybe a little flirty, and the next thing you know, that person is being torn apart and destroyed, and bad mouthed as some horrible things. Drug user, sex addict, whatever it is, sleeping with married men, sleeping with married women. Why is it that society, this has become such a norm? I really think that we should be ashamed as Americans that this stuff goes on at all. And, I'm here. I'm originally from California. I've been in the Bible Belt in North Carolina here for a good 18 plus years. Um, and, so I'm an outsider as well. And I can tell you, these type of things go on, but particularly here in the Bible Belt, um, you know, if you truly believe the Bible, then start following the Bible. I'm amazed the amount of people that have never even read the Bible, and I've challenged people to do that. Read the Bible and find out what it really says. And holy cow, you want to know how mad they get? They cannot stand you actually calling them out on the fact of how many people claim to be Bible believing Christians, and yet the things that they think are in the Bible are not in the Bible at all. Another topic for another podcast, perhaps in the future, as some time we can delve into the corruption of the Bible. That would be a fun conversation. Maybe I can get us a guest on here so that we can do it together. Who knows? But anyway, the slander goes all the way up to the presidency and even other nations. And we have seen this going on for quite some time. And, you know, what is disgusting is what the news media is continuing to do. The dead legacy mainstream news media that has been replaced by podcasts. That's one of the reasons why I'm coming on here. We talk about what really is going on? But they decided to use an anonymous source against Pete Hegseth. Um, and that's absolutely ridiculous. If you don't even have a solid source, this information should have been shut down immediately. It just shows how fraudulent the news media is. They're not willing to be honest with us, even now. And they're continuing to do their thing as agents um, and as actors, deep state actors, to continue to try to destroy America. But we go forward because where we go one, we go all. Nothing can stop what is coming. And I hope that encourages you because, well, we may see bad things happening and it seems like we're losing ground at times. We're continuing to gain it, but it is important to ensure and make sure that our congressmen and women understand we mean business. And I'm going to tell you, we not only won this election, but we have changed the Republican Party, and quite frankly, I think the Democratic Party as well. I will never forget, and I think many of you did the exact same thing. But sometimes you wonder if your voice is changing anything of that letter that you're writing, if it ever mattered, it ever changed everything. And I know there were probably hundreds, if not thousands, of us, especially in 2020 and even 2021, especially the Republican National Committee was sending out these letters and they were begging for money. They were struggling because, Donald Trump really showed us the corruption in the Republican Party. And a lot of us stopped donating money to the Republican Party. And so they were hurting. And we sent some of those letters back and literally just wrote on the letter and corrected what they were saying. Because at that point, they were a establishment mainstream Republican Party that were going for the John McCain's, um, the what's his name, even Lindsey Graham, the moderates, the weak, the pathetic Republicans. That's what the party was about. And they were asking for money for issues that were not important at all. And so I told them so, and a number of others. And I told them that it was important for them to acknowledge the fraud that had been taking place and that the election was stolen in 2021. And until they acknowledged that, they were not going to receive a drop of money from me. Well, then they started calling. And so I answered the phone and they were begging again for money. And I remember I like chewed out the guy on the phone. I said, look, you need to listen to me. If you're going to sit here on this phone and tell me all this crap, I'm going to tell you right now, until the Republican Party acknowledges that fraud took place in the 2020 November election, and that acknowledges that the election was stolen, you will not receive a drop of my money, period. And you don't need to send any letter out with any kind of pledge or anything like that. I will not pledge anything because this party is showing how complacent and fraudulent the party is. And I told this guy, because he called more than once, it sounded like the exact same man. I told him the exact same thing every single time he called. Well, guess what? It worked. It works. They actually realized not long after that, it was actually after 2022 when there was supposed to be a red wave and it didn't really happen. The Republican Party woke up and realized they needed to change some things. Realized the MAGA movement was serious about this revolution, that we were serious about change, that we were serious about taking back our country, that we were serious about what we were doing. And we were just blindly following Donald Trump as our leader. He's who we've elected, but it was the movement that we were behind of restoring a constitutional republic, of bringing the country back to the way it should have been. Our country was sold out not many years after it was founded. A lot of people don't realize that. Pastors, teachers, leaders, politicians walk around going, this is a Christian nation. It's founded on Christian principles. It really wasn't. I mean, it initially was, but it wasn't long before it was actually sold out. We never have truly been free from the crown of Great Britain. There is a lot of things you could delve into if you begin to understand and comprehend. All the way to, I'm going to go ahead and put this out there for what it's worth because it's time for a voice to be heard. It's time for censorship to stop. I am telling you, the inauguration of Joe Biden did not happen on January 20th. That inauguration was aired about 8 hours earlier in a European country. That inauguration was set up of actors filmed somewhere. It did not actually take place on that day. Now, the significance of that and what it all means and who was actually running our country and who even was Joe Biden and who was acting him, we could get a lot of things with all that. But the fact remains, there's a lot of things, if you paid attention, in 2021, the White House was empty. It was actually put up for sale. A lot of people don't realize that. I personally called the White House to confirm that, as well as citizen journalists were on the ground watching that and seeing that, and and videoing it and picturing it and getting the news out as much as they possibly could amidst all the hate and the slander and the censorship of posts and profiles taken down by our dear, wonderful social media gurus who were trying to propagandize us and censorship us like a bunch of communist party leaders. So we changed the party, is my point, by simply writing those letters, holding the party to where they begin to realize that it was important for them to change, that they no longer are the grand old party that was full of corruption, the Bush crime family. Um, is no longer that party anymore. We're no longer going to stand behind the Mitt Romneys. That's who I was trying to say earlier. The John McCains, the Lindsey Graham types. We're no longer going to put up with that. And so we're going to primary and vote those people out, or else they're going to do their job. And so we've been able to do that and accomplish that and do a lot, but now we need to make sure that Congress understands they really, really need to do their job in getting these nominees elected so that Trump can do his, and in turn, all of us together can actually do our part. So, we were able to accomplish that. We were able to accomplish that as a group of people, and so thankful for the movement, so thankful for the Great Awakening, so thankful that people literally all around the world understand the importance of this and are watching and waiting and can't wait to see President Donald J. Trump once again, the president of our great country. It's going to be great. It's going to be great. One other thing I want to share with you is this. Joe Biden decided that in his last days as president, that he would go to Angola to help out with a trade project. And I understand that that's his passion, trades. He loves trades. And there's nothing wrong with that. But here we are again in North Carolina, in Western North Carolina, still. I'm not personally there, but I'm in the state, still seeing that as winter is coming on, there's still so many roads that need to be built. So many people need to be helped. Houses destroyed, lives destroyed, all of these things going on. And Joe Biden has the gall. Like, could he do anything worse than he's already done? These last 4 years have been some of the worst, terrible years. And he goes over to Angola and promises them $1 billion. Now, I want to propose that we actually take that out of his paycheck and allow Joe Biden, if he wants to go over there and promise any country for the rest of his presidency any amount of money that it comes out of his paycheck and not ours, because that is ridiculous. It wasn't just 1 million, but he is offering $1 billion. This is the insanity of a administration that absolutely hates us, does not care about us, and is trying to drive this country into the ground financially. They're trying to crash us and put us into a recession. And then Trump's going to get blamed for this. What do you feel about that? What do you think about Joe Biden it being taken out of his paycheck? Because personally, if I was the president of the United States, I would do that. I would say, Joe, you just promised them $1 billion. You write the check out of your personal account because we're sick and tired of sending all that money to Ukraine, sending all that money to every other country, making every other country in the world great. And we're over here to where our own citizens are not being taken care of. It's a shame. It's disgusting. It's pathetic. It is not right at all. And here's the thing, folks, before some of you get up in arms and you say, yeah, but the American First policy is selfish. No, it's not. Because you clearly don't understand how the diplomacy works. People love America, they copy America. And so when we come up with a great idea, a great strategy, and we fix our country and make our country better, guess what happens? Other countries copy us and do the same thing. When we go to war as a country, guess what? Other countries, some of those are our allies, they join us in the war. We do carry a lot of influence. We are a large country. We used to be respected a few years back in the world. We've lost a lot of that respect, unfortunately. But we're about to get that back because it's not just a new sheriff in town, it's the sheriff we had before. Being given a second chance. And I can tell you that he is not making the same mistakes that he made during his first term, if we can even call some of those mistakes. Because the fact of the matter is, there were many of us that needed to be red pilled to understand what was really going on. Not all of us realized how deep the deep state was. Not all of us realized some of the swamp creatures are actually some of our pastors, some of our politicians. We didn't realize just how corrupt Washington, D.C. is. I mean, we had a general idea, but for some odd reason, maybe it's our news media, maybe it's the programming, we just thought, well, there's not a thing we could really do about it. So we just kept living our lives. We can do something about it. And we, the people, already have done something about it. And we're going to continue to do something about it. And I hope that you know and you understand that voting for Trump and getting him elected is only one step in the direction that we need to go. We have more work to do in order to be able to effectively pull this off. It's going to take all of us holding the line. It's going to take all of us continuing to share our podcast, having those conversations, sometimes difficult, heart wrenching conversations. Sometimes admitting that we are wrong. And trust me, I've had to do that a number of times in my life. Finding out that the things that we've believed for many, many years are not necessarily the truth. It's a hard pill to swallow. It's like one of those big old horse pills. You know, you might gag as it goes down. You might choke. It's not fun to realize that the things that you pushed and that you believed and that you were programmed with, that they are not the truth. And maybe at one point they were. Maybe there was a point in time when those truths were the truth. Maybe we were in an old world system where sometimes some of those truths were true. And it got us through that period of time. It brought us comfort. It brought us joy. It brought us peace. We felt good about it. But we also were asleep, folks. We were sleeping through life, believing the things that we believed, believing that everything was all right, that there was nothing that we could do, that we're, just waiting for the rapture of the church to take place, whatever all is your belief system. Some people still believe that. Well, the reality of the situation is we all needed to do something, and we did. But it took the masses awakening, and there's still a few yet to awaken, beginning to realize and to understand, man, what a load of crap we've been taught. We've been programmed for what? We've been programmed to remain poor. We've been programmed to give all our money to the elites. And that's why it took a businessman. He could have continued on with his plush life, but he loved his country so much. And this just didn't just happen overnight. There's footage from Donald J. Trump from 1987. He's saying the same things he's saying now, talking about the same countries and the problems in those countries and how we need to fix it. He hasn't changed. He's just grown older and wiser, and he's implementing these things like a businessman will do. He's negotiating with these countries, and he's helping them to realize if you don't get it right and do the right thing and help us for America to be America first again, you're going to pay. There's going to be tariffs, which are an incredible thing. There's a lot of misinformation going on about tariffs. We've had tariffs before in this country in the wealthiest time that we ever had. If I'm not mistaken, I think it was in the 1880s. It was when the gold was the golden standard. The dollar was backed by gold. It's before the Rothschild U.S. Treasury, IRS, all of that came to be. Fraudulent system came in about 1910. That's when our medical fields went to crap. That's when our banks went to crap. That's when our governments really went to crap, was about that time and they're on. Wars began to be fought that are useless. So many different things. And yet here we are in 2024 at the precipice of a new year. Few days left. What do we have? We're in the 40s. I post it every day on my social media. We are at approximately, let me see if I can pull it up here real quick. 47 days till the inauguration of the 47th president that also was the 45th president. And that dash 45 to 47 can mean whatever you want it to mean. 47 days. In a way, it can't come soon enough. On the other hand, we got work to do. We got a lot to accomplish between now and then over the next 47 days. But we've accomplished so much. It's been a long journey. These last 4 years, especially, have been some of the longest years. But here we are. It paid off. It is worth it. It is amazing. It is incredible. So encourage yourself because you were part of this. And even if you were against Donald Trump and the MAGA movement at the beginning, maybe you're not a three-timer like I am. I actually initially wasn't a Donald Trump supporter. I actually thought he was kind of a joke at first when he ran. I actually had I was behind Ted Cruz, but then Ted Cruz dropped out of the race, and it became abundantly clear Donald Trump was the right choice. And so I voted for him in 2016, and then I voted again for him in 2020. And unfortunately, you know, unfortunately, the amount of fraud that took place that we're not supposed to talk about, even though there's video evidence, it's not widespread, didn't happen, yada, yada, yada. Here we are. We made it this far. Congratulations. Thank you for being part of the journey. Whatever level that you were, whether you were for or against, you were all part of that journey of making this possible. And so here we are on the eve, the precipice, 47 days before the inauguration, having made a difference. And so if you feel today that your voice doesn't really make a difference, maybe you're like me, you have a small sphere of influence. Not many people watch your channel if you have a podcast or a YouTube, or even you have social media pages that you post on. You made a difference. I believe more and more as we awaken, more and more of us will find each other. We'll join forces and will become such an unstoppable voice. Your voice matters. Your social media posts matter. You are amazing. You are incredible. You're so much more than the things you've been told. You came for such a time as this. May that be an encouragement to you. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much once again for watching this Conversations with Daniel. We hope that it has been informative and that you have enjoyed these conversations. Please like and share, help me to get the word out, and we look forward to seeing you very soon.